What's going on, guys? In today's hashtag winning episode, I'm gonna share with you the 10 ways that successful people think differently than everyone else. I want you to grab a pen and a paper for this one. You're gonna wanna write this stuff down, and I swear to God, you'll probably wanna frame this and put this on your wall. You're gonna wanna repeat this stuff. You're gonna wanna review this stuff on a daily basis if you wanna win in life and in business. So without any further ado, let's dive in. So number one, and I'm just gonna give you kind of like the mantra, if you will. I have no evidence that I'll succeed, but I'm moving forward anyway. Got it? I have no evidence that I'll succeed, but I'm moving forward anyway. So let's talk about, this is hashtag winning, right? This is how you're here because you're a winner. You want to win at the highest possible level in everything you're doing. And what that means is that winners are risk takers. We don't play not to lose. We play to win. We don't play to play safe and protect what we have. We have to venture out into uncharted territory if we want to expand. And the reality is, in life, nothing is certain. Nothing. So how are you supposed to have evidence of success if you've not had this success before? So when I went from playing pro soccer to building a business, I had evidence of success as a soccer player. I had no evidence of success as a business owner, but I did it anyways. Why? Well, that leads me to mantra number 2, and it's the following. I understand that nothing in life is certain, but I am certain in myself. So 1 and 2 go very closely together. I understand that in life, nothing is certain, but I am certain in myself. And this is why I was able to go from pro soccer to building multiple great businesses now. Not because I knew how it was all going to work. I had no evidence. How am I supposed to, you start a business, you're at ground zero. You have zero evidence that you can build a multiple $1 million business. What else? There's no maybe in a previous lifetime, but in the current, you have no evidence to do what you want to do. And most people let that stop them from taking a step forward, but not winners like us. We say, fuck it. I believe in myself. I understand that nothing in life is certain, but I am certain in myself. And that's why I will figure this out. I will win because I am a winner, because that's who I am. I figure shit out. I want this badly enough. That's all that matters. But how do I know this is going to work? You don't. And if you're not okay with that, as I've said before, if you're looking for certainty, go work for someone else. Most people don't have what it takes to run a business, and they still consider themselves business owners, but they're not. They're employees who've purchased a job. They bought a clinic that they happen to work in because they have to. Think about this. If you're a health professional and you invested, like many of our clients, hundreds of thousands of dollars in your education, either you're fucking on drugs, which is probably not the case, or at some level you thought that was going to be a useful skill set to have for you in the future. Because where was the evidence that was going to be a good ROI? It still might not be. You still might be drowning in debt from all that nonsense, but you still did it. Why? Because at some level you believed that hey, if I have this skill set, I can help people and make money. Great. You did it. Amazing. That's how winners win. That's how you do things in life. Unfortunately, in business, everyone's looking for the guarantee. I need to know this could work for sure. You're not ever going to know it's going to be guaranteed for sure. Yuri, what's the difference between the clients of yours who win and those who don't? If you guys haven't heard this before, just pay attention. What's the difference between my clients who win and those who don't? It's really simple. It's the same coaching, same curriculum, same advice, same everything. Okay, so what's the difference? Why do some people absolutely crush it and some people don't even move forward? Well, number one, they don't really want it. That's the first thing. Second is it comes down to them, right? It's always an internal locus of focus. That also stems from me. I'm not okay with the fact that our program is what it is. I love it. It's great, but it's not good enough. But listen, it's the best in the business, but it's still not good enough from my standards. That doesn't mean we can't help you. We 1,000,000% can if you're a good fit, but I'm saying it's never enough and it'll always get better. That's just because I'm obsessed with improving all the time. And I want to be able to solve for the lowest common denominator. But even then I can't, because I can't do the work for our clients. Just like you can't do the sit-ups or the push-ups or anything else for your clients. So why do some people win and some people don't? Because some clients don't show up. It's that simple. You know this, right? There's no secret sauce, magic bullet. You have humility, which means you're coachable, and you show up. You have those two ingredients, along with expertise and blah, 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 that stuff, the basics, you win. But if you're not humble, so if you can't take coaching and you don't show up and do the work, you'll never succeed. So that's the first two things. I have no evidence that I know I have no evidence that I'll succeed, but I'm moving forward anyways. And that leads into the second thing, which is I know in life that nothing is certain, but I am certain in myself. All right, so number 3 is the following. If just one other person has done this, I can too. It's a really nice belief to have, right? Like if you think about it, why wouldn't you be able to do this? And are you more committed to your story and excuses than you are about your possibilities? Unfortunately, a lot of people are. A lot of people are tied to their stories like, oh, but my situation is different. Man, I just got divorced and, my kid, I don't care. I just don't care because it's all bullshit. Because I've heard the stories, and for every story I've heard the same situation, and the person just said, I'm doing this anyways, and I'm going to crush it. And they did, right? So your stories do nothing than keep you stuck. That's it. Like I have no time to hear the stories, and I don't think you should either because they don't serve you. And if you're working with people who come to you with nonsense and stories and excuses, just be like, cool, awesome. Do you want to keep living that story or do you want to write a new chapter? It's your choice. Because if one other person has done this, why couldn't you? They have 2 legs, 2 arms, 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 brain, same DNA pretty much. What's the difference? Yeah, but their situation, great, awesome. You can live with that story for the rest of your life. Or this other person has done it. Why wouldn't you be able to, right? So if just one other person has done this, I can too. It's a good belief to have. Now, flip side to that coin is the 4th one. I don't judge what's possible for me by what isn't possible for others. So if someone else is like, I can't do this, I'm like, yeah, because you're a loser and I don't want to even model you. So it's kind of the flip side of like, if one other person can do this, I can too. But at the same time, if a lot of other people can't do it, I don't give a shit because most other people are average at best, right? I don't think most people are good drivers. Does that mean I'm not going to be a good driver? No, I'm a great driver. And that's what most people probably say about themselves too. But I don't judge what's possible for myself based on what isn't possible for other people. So as I mentioned before, I decided to be stupid for 3.5 years when I started my first business, 2005-ish, 2006 to 2009. I said, I'm going to do all of this by myself because I am smart. I can figure it out. And that's why I was broke. Then I invested in my first coach in 2010. And from that time till today, I've invested more than $1.3 million in my own coaching, mentorships, and coaching. So let me ask you this. Of all of those investments, how many times do you think I've asked them what their other clients have gotten as results? Here's the answer. Never. 0 times. Do you know why? Because right here, I don't judge what's possible for me by what isn't possible for other people. I don't care who the people are that didn't succeed with your help. That's because they're shit. They don't know what they're doing. They don't have what it takes. They give up when the going gets tough. They're flaky. I'm the complete opposite of that stuff. And I want you to have this belief as well. It doesn't matter if most people, because here's the thing in life, like I may have mentioned this in a previous video. It doesn't matter what you're doing. There's a bell curve, okay? In life, there's 20% of people who crush it, 60% are in the mediocre middle, and 20% who fail. It doesn't matter what it is you do. That's just the way it is, right? So you could go to like any coaching program, any mentorship, any whatever you want, and it's going to be a rough breakdown like that. Now the percentages might be a bit different, but generally that's what you're looking at. So why would you compare yourself to the mediocre middle and those who fail when that's not how you even see yourself in the world? It's like, let's look at another example. So if I had the belief when I was playing soccer that the vast majority of people who play soccer do not play professionally, like they don't make it to the pros, is that a useful belief for me to judge what's possible for me and my future? Let's say 1 million people play soccer and only 10,000 people play professionally. That's less than what, 1%? Let's just call it that. It's probably even, I don't even know what the percentage is. If I look at that and I'm saying, well, you have a 99% failure rate. I'm not going to play. That's how most people approach anything. Well, not all of your clients win. So therefore I'm not doing this because I don't believe in myself because I'm not a winner. That's what I hear. So I look at this as 99% of people who play soccer will never play professionally. And here's my thinking. Yeah, because they're losers. They're not winners. They're average. They're shit. They're not good players. I'm way better. And again, guys, like, I'm confident, okay? I'm confident in certain areas of my life, but I'm also very realistic that I'm shit in many areas. And even still, I have serious deficiencies in even the areas that I'm great at. Like, I think I'm a really solid entrepreneur. But dude, you don't have shit figured out relative to where I want to go. And I'm very aware of that. I'm like, man, we're moving too slow. I've made these mistakes. I'm still not getting this. So as much as I come across as confident and what I call delusionally optimistic in my own abilities, which I am, I'm also very aware of my shortcomings. So please don't think that I'm this narcissistic, arrogant know-it-all who thinks he can do everything and is the best in the world. I'm not, and I don't believe that. But I also have a very, very high degree of confidence and belief in myself, which allows me to move through all the uncertainty and shit that are my shortcomings. So I look at 99% of people not being able to play pro soccer. I'm like, why would I let their inability to do that affect me? They're not me. I'm not them. At the same time, if just one of them can play pro soccer, why couldn't I? Do you see like the duality there? So anyways, again, these are things that I've noticed in myself and many other successful people that I've come across and obviously befriended in my time. So I don't judge what's possible for me by what isn't possible for others. Number 5, I know that accomplishing anything great is not easy. Thus, I embrace failure as a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. The only time you fail in life is when you give up. And sadly, a lot of people give up because the going gets tough. And it's not about things being easy, it's about you getting better. And when you are making a choice, let's just call it to build a great business, you're making the choice of what your hard is. So let me use fitness as an example. You can be overweight and unhealthy, and that's hard, right? That's really hard. That sucks. Or you can choose the hard of working out daily, changing your diet, and being disciplined. That's also hard. So which hard would you like? Red pill, blue pill, right? Same idea. There isn't an easy option. It's just which hard, what shit are you willing to eat, for the lack of a better analogy? I say that because I just noticed my dog outside doing that. So that's what she does. So what's your hard? What are you willing to accept? What are you willing to deal with? And that's what it comes down to. Like anything great isn't easy. And I think most people are not great because they're expecting things to be easy. And that's why it's so easy to be great, because you just do a little bit more than what everyone else is doing, which is close to nothing. And you are greater than everyone else, right? And just like in the business landscape, because you're actually just thinking at that level. So failure only happens if you give up. Like, I don't even like the word failure. I like learning as an example. I don't think in my life, I wish I had kept tabs, but it's 100 times to 1. 100 failures to wins. So if this were like a professional soccer division, I would have been relegated every single year. It's just based on losing. But the wins, again, maybe it's not the best analogy, the wins have allowed me to stay up in the top division, if you will. And the fact that I just kept going. So I don't look at it as failure. I look at it as like, what did I learn? How can I course correct, etc. And I think that's really important. It's falling in love with failing. It's understanding that like, cool, like the first time I ride a bike, I'm going to suck. It's okay if I fall, just get back up, man. It's not about falling. It's about being able to get back up. You're going to fall. You're going to fail. Cool. Get right back up. Fuck. Just keep going. It's not hard. And it comes down to how badly you want it. It's like if your why is big enough, you will overcome anything. Got it? So number 6, I invest in myself because I am my greatest asset. I will always outperform the S&P, crypto, and even real estate. Recently, we had a conversation with someone who was interested in our coaching, and he's like, I don't know, if I invest with you guys, then the opportunity cost is that I could have invested that in Bitcoin. And I'm like, are you fucking deranged? Like in the head? Like seriously? You value Bitcoin more than yourself? Your own skill development, and this is why you're broke. This is why you're stuck. And that's why if someone's coming to work with us, and they're like, I got to liquidate some of my stocks, get rid of some of my investments. I'm like, good, burn them. They're a waste. What are you making? What are you making with your index funds, your mutual funds? 9% a year? Like if you invested as a client and worked with me and you made 10% return on your investment, you would report me to the Better Business Bureau. As this was the biggest scam, biggest waste of money of all time. I would never do that again. Probably, right? But yet millions of people are doing that every single day with their money in the stock market. They invest in companies. They have no clue who the board of directors are. They don't even know who their C-level suite is. They have no clue about who the fuck they're investing in. Yet when it comes to investing in themselves and their own business, they're like, well, I got to talk to every one of your clients. I got to see the proof. Duff. Why? We have the track record. You don't. Here's the proof. You're not talking to my clients. If you don't believe it, that's your loss. So Anyways, crypto. Yeah, I'm bullish on crypto. I do believe the future is going to be crypto. I think anyone who doesn't is maybe living in the past. But it doesn't mean that crypto is the only place you should invest your money. It's very volatile. I haven't even looked at my freaking crypto in the past year, because if I did, I'd be like pretty depressed about it. But I also remember if I look at the investments that I've made, I've invested way more money in myself and my business than I have in outside investments. Maybe real estate a little bit more in terms of investing, but that's all been net free positive cash flow from the business that I've been able to take out as profit to then make investments like buying our house in Mexico, stuff like that, which never would have been possible had I not invested in myself in the first place, to build the skills, to build the revenue, to build the cash flow, to build the investments. If I was the world's shittiest writer, like I was when I started, and I was still writing emails that were like, April newsletter, welcome to this month's newsletter, where I'm going to talk about how to make carrot ginger soup. I hope you're having a great day. You think if I wrote like that, I would still have a business? No way. Do you think that if I still sucked at sales, I would be doing okay financially? No way. So the best thing I ever did in my life was invest in myself, right? It's the same with you. You invested in school, certifications, whatever, a good starting point. You got technical competency, great. But how is your business competency? Because if your business skill set, well, here's the easy answer. Look at your bank account. If you don't like what you see in your bank account, your business skills don't match your technical skills. Or maybe your technical skills are not that good enough that people even want to pay you for what it is you do. But that could also be a marketing issue / sales issue. So most health professionals and coaches are very skilled technically and nothing business and marketing sales wise. And yet they think they're going to take another certification. For what? To avoid actually having to face the truth and the fact that you have to build these skills over here, because if you don't, you're never gonna get where you wanna go. So invest in yourself, you will never lose. Even the worst coaching programs you can still learn from, because value is caught more than it's taught. Value is an extraction game if you show up. Cool. Number 7, the fact that I'm afraid to do something is the exact reason I need to do it, because I will never grow by only making comfortable decisions. So let's say that you wanted to work with us and let's say it's out of your ballpark, price-wise, and you feel anxious about that and you feel like, oh shit, I don't know if I can do this. That's the exact reason you should. When I invested $18,000 to hire my first coach, that was, again, more money than I made the previous year. Do you think I was uncomfortable with that? Yeah. Do you think I was afraid? Yeah. And that's exactly why I knew I needed to do it. It was the right decision for me because I was massively uncomfortable. And I realized, I'm like, Yuri, if you keep staying comfortable, you're going to keep making $6,000 a year. You fucking loser. Don't do that, okay? And by the way, I don't call myself a fucking loser. I don't even know why I just said that. I never actually ever call myself a loser. I never talk negatively to myself, ever. So maybe that was more of a projection to the world in general. I don't know. So if you're afraid to invest in yourself, if you're afraid to do something, do it. I'm not saying jump off a bridge or jump out of an airplane. There's obviously context here. For our conversation, within the situation or the context of your business, you must invest from your future self. You must invest above your pay grade because you can never raise your pay grade if you're investing at the level of your pay grade. If I was making $6,000 a year and I was making investments from that level, I would still be making $6,000 a year. Because let me break it down for you, yo. Here's what you're earning. Here's where you want to be. Okay, let's say you're making $5,000 a month, which is $60,000 a year. Let's keep it monthly. You're making $5,000 a month. You want to be making $25,000 a month. Okay, we have a bit of discrepancy. That's a $20,000 per month discrepancy. That's also known as $240,000 a year. Do you know what that is? That's what's called COI. That's your cost of ignorance. That's your cost of inaction. If you keep not knowing how to go from 5 to 25K per month, you will keep paying $240,000 per year, not knowing how to get there. That's an unnecessary tax bill that you're paying right now, if that's your situation. And it is. All of us have a situation that we want to get better or move out of, right? Right now I'm here. I still want to be way above. Many, many years ago, I just wanted to be making $1,000 a day. And then I wouldn't even get up in the morning for that anymore, right? So whatever your, now is to where you want to go, all of us, if you're watching this is a growth-oriented channel. It is the #1 place for health professionals and coaches to grow their business, not to stay at a plateau. If you're fine just covering the bills, just check out. This isn't for you. I'm talking to winners here. People who want to do big things in life, who want to make a shit ton of money in the service of infinitely more people. okay? It's not at the expense of them. You're here to make a lot of money, to grow, and to help a tremendous amount of people. The fact that you're afraid to do something is exactly why you have to do it. And I want you to think about that. I'm afraid to take out another credit card. Fuck it. Take out the credit card and invest in yourself. It's going to stretch you. You're going to lose sleep at night. You're going to worry. Welcome to the world of entrepreneurship, where the opportunity to make a fortune is there and the opportunity to lose a lot of money is also there. Welcome to the world of being an entrepreneur. If you don't like it, you know what I say? Go work for someone else. Number 8, I focus on what this will cause me instead of what this will cost me. Person's like, what does it cost to work with you? You're like, great question. How valuable is it for you to get out of your current situation? That's the real question. $3,000 is a lot. I was actually having this conversation with a client yesterday. She helps people with migraines. And she's like, Yuri, how do I deal with this situation? Person had a call with me and now they want to think about it, blah, 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 blah. I said, cool. So like, how much is your program? She's like, $1,500 to help people eradicate their migraine headaches. I'm like, holy shit. All right. So your program is not too expensive. You just got to get better at translating the value here. So a person's got migraine headaches, sidelines them 3 days, right? Every third day. Let's say you have a job making $80,000 a year. You can't show up half the time because you're debilitated, hiding under a pillow because you can't function. You no longer have a $1,500 problem. You have an $80,000 problem because you, my friend, are about to lose your job because you're a liability to your business or to your profession or to your employer. You're not an asset. Because I'm telling you this, if you're on my team and every other day you are out of commission, you're gone. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, you're out of here. I empathize for your situation. Obviously, it's terrible. We'd help you out, but you're out of it. You're gone. You're a liability. And that's where, be able to have a conversation with someone. It's like the cost is irrelevant. $1,500. Would it be worth investing $1,500 to save $80,000? Yeah, probably. So then the question is, well, how do I know it's going to work? That's the bigger question, right? That's always the question. It's like, how do I know it's going to work out for me? Which goes back to point number 1 and 2. I have no evidence that I'll succeed, but I'm doing this anyways. I'm moving forward anyways. I understand that nothing in life is certain, but I'm certain in myself. Therefore, how do I know this is going to work out is an irrelevant question for people who believe in themselves. That's why, and this is my core belief, and I want you to adopt this as well. If you do the best you possibly can to show value to someone and they say it's too expensive, that's on you, right? You haven't done a good job articulating the value. If someone says, I don't believe this can work, assuming you've done a good job explaining the value, that's on them because that's loser mentality. I've done every program under the sun and I'm still not where I want to be. Fuck, please stay away from me. Like, what do you have that's not working? As a client, like if you've got a prospective client that comes to you and says, I've done everything and nothing has worked, like please, no one wants to help a sinking ship. No one. So like if you came and talked to me and you're like, Yuri, I've done everything and nothing has worked. I'm like, shit, man, I only work with winners. Please tell me if I were to take you on as a client, why I would be lucky. Because right now I'm not getting that sense. I don't need a train wreck in my life. It's not going to happen. So where am I going with this? Winners focus on not what this is going to cost. I mean, yeah, you acknowledge the price, you acknowledge, like not just the financial cost, energetic, attention, what you have to put into this. Let's look at another example. Working out. Let's say you want to put on muscle, lose weight. I understand. I focus on what this is going to cause me. What is doing the work going to cause me? It is going to turn me into a weapon for good. Better health, more muscle, more longevity, better aerobic capacity, better strength. I look better without a shirt on, shirt off, whatever. What is like, so that's what that's going to cause me. What is it going to cost me? Working out every day. Okay, cool. So is the juice worth the squeeze? Is the juice worth the squeeze? And that comes down to how badly do you want it? Because when it's a must, we find a way. When it's not, we find an excuse, right? Kids get kidnapped. The ransom's $5,000. Do you pay the ransom? Well, some of you might say, well, it depends which kid they take. Well, let's just say you love your kids. Will you find a way to come up with the money? You better fucking believe it. Why? Because what this is going to cause you, i.e. get your kids back, is infinitely more valuable than the cost of $5,000. Years ago, my first dog, Jax, who we put down a number of years ago because he was shitting all over the house. He was 13 and kind of losing his way. He was my little buddy. He was the best. You've probably seen him in some of my photos and videos in the past. Little wiener dog. He was amazing. And when he was 3, he woke up one morning and was like dragging himself. He's a wiener dog, right? So dragging himself along the floor. Like, that's not good. His back legs don't work. So right away, I'm like, that's a problem. We took him to the vet. We lived in a small town at the time. The vet's like, we have 2 options. We can inject him with some cortisone, see if it helps, or you can take him into the city to go to the actual hospital for the dogs, get some scans, and they might have to operate or something. So we're like, let's do that. So I took him to the hospital in Toronto. Like, yeah, dog can't walk. The vet's like, cool. We did a scan. He's got 3 herniated discs. We have 2 options. We can put him down or we can operate. Let's not even consider option number 1. So let's operate. What's the cost? And it was 10 grand. And this is before, like, this was at a time when 10 grand for me it's a good chunk of change. Like, I'm like, fuck. But it wasn't even a thought. I'm like, here's my visa. I'll figure it out afterwards, right? Like, what am I gonna do? Put my dog down because I can't afford 10 grand? No. Again, what this is gonna cause me, my dog surviving, was infinitely greater than the cost of 10 grand. Yet, people will be like, well, 10 grand for a coaching program is a lot. And you're full of shit. You just don't want what it is you want. So just shut the fuck up. That's what this is all about. Or you don't see the value here. Let's talk about that, okay? So, remember, winners always are very, very clear about what they want. They have a strong desire. They're very attached to the outcome, and they're willing to pay any price to make it happen. Any price. 9, I know that time is expensive and money is cheap. I can always make more money, but I can never make more time. Thus, I happily spend money to buy back my time. So you have 2 options in life. We spend what we value least. So if you say you value your time the most, and that's what you're currently using, then you don't. Unless you have absolutely no money and you have to use your time. Got it? I'll just give you an example. So we speak with, I'd say about 75% of the people we speak with about working with us, the number one thing they want more in life is time. They're burnt out. They want more time back. And then we're like, cool, well, here's the investment to work with us. And we're like, let me think about it. And then they send us an email. I decided to go a different direction. You choose a cheaper option. I'm like, that's a stupid decision because you're going to pay twice now. You're going to pay twice in the sense of you're paying that program, which is shit because you get what you paid for. And then you're going to come back to us in 6 months and you're going to pay more because it'll be more expensive then. But even if it wasn't, you're paying twice. So where am I going with this? When you invest, you can buy back your time in the case of skills, right? So you can become more skillful, which means you can execute at a higher level and faster. Or that helps you make more money, and that money then helps you hire more people. So I was actually speaking to someone earlier last week, and he's like, for me, it's not all about the money. I really want to make my time. I want to get more time back. I'm like, cool, man. So you're making 7 grand a month, and you will never get more time back unless you make a lot more money. So you can hire people to buy your time back. So it's not about the money. I get that, but you can't do shit with 7 grand a month. You'll be working as a slave forever. But if you make 70 grand a month, then you could theoretically do nothing because you could have a great team around you who does all the heavy lifting, all the stuff you don't want to do. But until you change that mindset, you'll always be grinding away. And you'll always be complaining about the fact that you don't have any time. So you have to make money if you want to buy back your time. And how do you make more money? You buy coaching, mentorship, information to build your skills so you are more valuable in the marketplace and in the world. The more valuable you are, the more people want to pay you. The more they pay you, the more money you make. The more money you make, the more profit you have. The more profit you have, the more you can hire other people. The more you hire other people, the more you can step out of the stuff you don't want to do and you can relax a little bit. That's what the circle of life in business looks like. Okay. So that's why successful entrepreneurs are always willing to invest in themselves and their business because that's the only way you can buy back your time. And finally, the best for last, I take full responsibility for my life. There we go. That's it. I take full responsibility for my life. Everything, good, bad, whatever, is your fault. It's my fault. I tell this to my kids all the time. If there's one thing my kids get from me before they leave this house, is it's always on you. Always. But Arlo did, no. You did this. But no. You did this because you chose to be in that situation. But I wasn't involved in it. Were you there? Then you were involved in it. Here's an example. So this morning, I was just going out to Starbucks and I take my car out, took out the 720 and I turned the corner around our block and then I get this warning on the dash that said, rear right tire pressure dangerously low. I was like, shit. Normally it's 32 PSI. It's down to 24. So I turn the car around, come back home. I look at the tire. I take out my, one of those inflating devices, pumps for car tires. I inflate the tire back up to 32 PSI, but I'm looking at the tire as this is happening and I see this huge nail stuck in the tire. I'm like, fuck. So then I'm replaying, I'm like, where did I drive this car in the past couple of days that could have led to this? And I'm like, well, I took it out twice. Anyways, as pissed off as I was about the nail in my tire, it's my fault. I'm like, dude, whatever the tire costs, $1,200, $1,400, whatever it is, that is my fault because I drove the car in a specific area where there may have been a nail on the road. Now, what most people do in life is they blame other shits. They're like, oh, that fucking construction site, that's why. No, it's your fault, dude. You drove there. I'm talking to myself. Okay. So this is fundamentally the most important belief that you as a human adult on planet Earth can adopt. Because unfortunately, the vast majority of people still haven't learned the lesson. It's always your fault. If you're not where you want to be in life, look in the mirror. If you're not making as much money as you want, it's your fault. If you don't have the results you want in your life, in your business, if you're overweight, unhealthy, fit, muscular, the best athlete on the planet, the most successful person on the planet, it's your fault. Okay, good, bad, or neutral. I mean, there's no good or bad. It's just neutral anyways. It's always your fault. And what that means is it's always in your power. You always have the power to choose. You always have the power to make a better decision. I was talking with my wife about this, and thankfully she takes ownership of her life. She goes to yoga and she's like, I get so friggin' annoyed by this yoga class because they play music during Shavasana. And she every single day she's talking about this. I'm like, babe, shut the fuck up. Like you're complaining about it, or you could just fucking go do yoga somewhere else. You can complain or you can change. So complainers are blamers. They're victims. I can't change my situation, therefore I will complain about it forever. And others are just like, this is annoying. I'm going to change my situation. So what she did is she actually talked to the yoga person there and said, listen, would you be opposed to not having music during Shavasana? It'd be really awesome if it was just quiet. And she's like, yeah, sure. Right? So change the damn situation, or she could have just gone to a different studio. That's about taking ownership. If you don't like something, you change it. If you don't like your situation, change it. If you don't like living somewhere in the winter, we don't like living in Toronto in the winter, instead of complaining about it, building a fucking house in Mexico so we can spend the winters there. Okay? But I don't have the luxury of doing so. Okay, you do. You just don't want it badly enough. But no, I'm not lucky. I made a choice many years ago to build a great business, to help a lot of people. And as a byproduct, I have the cash flow to be able to do stuff like that. If I can do it, why couldn't you? Well, not everyone has it. Again, I'm not going to let what's possible for me depend on what isn't possible for others. Do you see how all this stuff comes together? I really hope you've written these things down. Because if you live your life by these beliefs, these mantras, I promise you, everything in your life changes. Because you want different results, you have to become a different person. Because where you are right now, unless you are blissfully pig and shit satisfied, you're just not good enough. And it's because you as a person are not who you need to be. Character-wise, belief-wise, skill-wise. Those are the three things we constantly have to work on to get to the next level. I'm not where I want to be. I'm very grateful for the life I have, but I am not satisfied in the slightest. I'm never satisfied. Like Will Ferrell says in Semi-Pro or Blaze of Glory, I am never satisfied. I'm very grateful for what I've created and what I have in my life, but it's never enough. And that doesn't come from a place of scarcity or whatever. It's this obsession with growth, and who cares where it comes from? We don't have to go into the psychotherapy side of things. Nonetheless, I know that it propels me to become better and grow and grow and grow. And whatever drives you, whether you're driven or driven or dragged by something, I think is irrelevant, at least in the micro. Whatever you got to do to get where you want to go, right? As long as you're not hurting people along the way and you're doing the best you can to help others, I think it's great. So anyways, this video is probably a lot longer than I anticipated, but those are the 10 ways successful people think differently. Let me know in the comments which one of those 10 most hits home for you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Check out the next video if you like this one, and I'll see you in the next #winning episode. So the lowest possible profession in terms of trust that the public had with that profession was politicians. They were the least trusted out of any profession, not surprisingly. Want to know who was first? Take a guess. Medical doctors.